Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Millionaire Mindset Mondays. We're here every Monday night at 6 p.m. EST, and we have interesting guests with us every week talking about partnerships. I'm Jan Carmanico Reeves, and as you know, I'm on a mission to make real estate investing fun, easy, and profitable. So tonight we have with us Lauren, the lawyer, who is an internationally renowned investment immigration attorney, and a cross border strategist who advises high net worth individuals and families on building wealth and securing residency through compliant strategic investments. Wow, very impressive, Lauren. So,
A lot of words, right?
a lot of words. So, tell us exactly what that means.
Well, it basically means that we have a couple of amazing programs to help people access investments in the US, access status in the US, and potentially access residency in the US. We also focus now, because of obvious changes in the world, on investments in Central America and South America and even Europe. But our key focus is always internally to the US and mostly from Canada, because as you know, I am from Canada.
Right. So, tell us a little bit about what your company, I guess, your company does for people who want to learn to invest in other countries.
So we have lots and lots of educational information out there, tons of stuff on YouTube and webinars and amazing information. I've been doing this for a really long time, and I have three signature programs. One is called How to Immigrate Through Real Estate, which is very popular because it helps real estate investors access status. The second is called the Seven Figure Invest to Immigrate program, which is for people that are involved in more traditional businesses, or maybe they want to buy a franchise or buy a business in the US. And the third is called the Real Estate and Business Accelerator Program, which is for those that don't know if they want a visa yet or not, but want to at least take advantage of the US market. And this is a really big deal right now, Jen, because it can help you to circumvent or overcome a lot of the tariff challenges that are happening. So I think people are like scared. I know people are scared right now. I mean, I myself like roll my eyes. The other day, I was watching a video that the Liberal Party put out. Now, I don't play politics, but they put out this video about Gander during 9/11. And I don't know if you've seen it, and all the things that Canada has done for the US, going to Afghanistan, fighting the fires in LA. I mean, rescuing hostages. It's just amazing. And then I actually was crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, like no matter what, even though I'm a dual citizen, I'm Canadian through and through. And it hurts me. It breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. So yeah, it's a tough time, but we give people ways around it, because at the end of the day, it's going to be hard to do business exclusively in Canada because it's too small of a market.
Yeah, yeah, it is very interesting times, and that's yeah, yeah,
Talk
good,
about not strategic partnership, right?
right, right, very
It's
much.
like the X joint venture or something like that. I feel like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, and yeah, that's the thing. We're talking about partnerships. That's a great um philosophy about all the things that can go wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I remember when I was in political science, I was a poli-sci major at York University in Toronto. And I
Hmm.
remember being at the front of the class. I think it was a mass communications class, and we were talking about I talked about this on LinkedIn the other day because it's all about tariffs. And we were talking about tariffs and how important tariffs are because they protect goods and services on, wherever it's from. And we were talking about lumber and aluminum or steel and all of this at the time, because those were the big exports. They still are from Canada, and seeing how important this relationship is. And meanwhile, it took one guy 1 month to basically call this whole thing into question. And I don't care about your politics. it's a challenge. It's a challenge for those of us on the US side. It's a challenge for Canadians. It's impacting consumers all over the place. I mean, when eggs are $9 a dozen, you know there's a challenge. Something is not going right. So
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, businesses like big businesses that they have so much to you know, keep up with, right? Like yeah, the tariffs are on, tariffs are off, you know, sourcing other um products or goods and but they
yeah.
have you know, contracts and like it's not that easy to flip back and forth. So
And people just don't know what to expect. Like I will say that I would never have expected this. Um, and I think that especially if you're in the manufacturing space or the export space, you're just kind of like, oh my goodness, what's happening next? And as an immigration lawyer, I will tell you that the immigration bar as a whole, as a matter of fact, I'm going to call an emergency mastermind of immigration lawyers because we don't know how to handle all of this. Like there's just so many changes. Every day I wake up, I'm like, okay, what's today going to bring? And as a rule, the immigration bar is very collaborative and helps each other. So we're trying to do that now. But we don't really know. Like somebody asked me today, can I get asylum as a Canadian? I'm like, no, there's no asylum. And right now, I mean, is that really asylum? Like, there's no asylum for Canadians. But anyway, it's an interesting time. There's a lot of noise, right? And I don't think it's all going to be as bad or as scary as it might seem today, but we have to get through that noise.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think in the long run, it will be a good thing because, you know, for Canadians are really diving deep into, you know, policies that have been around for years and years and years that nobody's questioned, like, you know, the tariffs amongst provinces and, you know,
Yep.
things like that. So I mean, it's good to have a little bit of a crisis, maybe, to stop and look at things, but. I think a really important thing for investors is if they are cross-border or in a different country investing, that it's really important to partner with a lawyer who's abreast of the daily minute by minute changes,
Minute
right?
by minute, literally minute by minute, and really stays on top of things. And um, I think that it goes a little deeper than just being a lawyer and being in the cross-border space, but it goes into like being exposed to all kinds of different businesses. And I had somebody say to me the other day, I am never going to invest in the US. And I'm like, well, okay, but at the end of the day, you're missing the opportunity because no matter what, America is 10 times the size, 10 times the market, 10 times the opportunity. Um, and if you're putting that aside just because you're upset or worried or mad, I think that it's kind of like biting off your nose to spite your face, and it's just going to end up backfiring on you. Instead of taking this, even though the Canadian dollar is super low, taking this as an opportunity to pivot a bit and shift your focus and see what opportunities are out there, because there are opportunities in this space.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And it's investors have to deal with logic and reason, right? It's not about emotions and
But so many people are just reacting with emotion. And as an investor, right, you do have to take the emotion out and act with logic and reason, and the numbers are still going to work.
Mhm.
Maybe they're going to work more. A lot of Canadians, when they come to me at first, they're like, oh my gosh, the dollar is so low. And, why am I going to do this? So I'm going to take this hit. Listen, when I bought my first house here, this is my second time living here. So my first house this time, the dollar was at an all-time low, the Canadian dollar. So I sold my house in downtown Toronto. I don't want to cry about this, but if I had that, anyway, I don't. So I sold this loft townhouse in downtown, like a one of those converted lofts, right? With overlooking Skydome. It was very cool. And I sold it and I made a little bit of money, but not like now it's worth probably, a couple million. And I converted my money and I bought this house, not the house I'm in now, but I bought a house and it hurt. It really hurt. But you know what? That was then, and this is now. And what I think people have to realize, or what's important to bear in mind, is that you take that hit, and then what happens, you start making money in USD. So whether you bring it back to Canada or you leave it in the US or you reinvest it, now you've taken that hit once. And also, by the way, I have a great currency exchange partner, but you take that hit once, and then everything is golden from there. So
Yeah. And then you start making the US dollars that are a lot bigger than Canadian dollars.
correct, correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct. I was at something this morning. Oh, I was at a training session, and the girl knows I'm obsessed with Lululemon more now than ever. Okay, like I have shoes and I have hairbands I was wearing when we started and everything. So she said, "Oh, are you going to bring me back something from Lululemon?" I go, "Well, I just might because now my US dollar is going to go a lot further in Canada." So
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Are you in Canada right now?
no, I'll be there on the 10th.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. So, explain to us, why is it critical to have a team that truly understands the complexities of investing across borders? Touched on that a little bit, but
So look, you can possibly invest in your backyard without worrying too much because you're there to manage it and ensure that you don't get in trouble, you don't, fall. When you're investing across borders, now you have to consider compliance, legalities, double taxation, so many different variables and important considerations that could impact you for the short and long term. And also, you have to think about, do I want a visa? Do I not need a visa? What does the visa bring with it? Why would I need a visa? So you can't just blindly invest in the US because you will end up paying the price some way or other. Okay. And remember, US is much more litigious than Canada.
Mhm.
So if you don't have the right team in place and you're not legally protected, you could not only end up paying tax to the IRS and the CRA, but also being subject to legal liability because you've exposed yourself and your family really to this litigious environment. So you want the right team in place. And it's not just, you can't just hire somebody that's in the US. This is something my business partner, Carolyn, had happened. She was investing in Columbus and she was working with a very high-end US investing portal, but they didn't pay any attention to what would happen to her in Canada because they didn't really care, right? So she ended up suffering greatly because of that. And it was a big deal because she had to close, she lost everything because she ended up paying double taxation because they didn't set her up properly. So it's just very important that if you're going to do this, you have a cross-border team, not just a lawyer or an accountant or a tax lawyer or a realtor, but a team that's going to protect your interests on both sides of the border.
Yeah, it's really important to get set up the proper way right from the beginning to be able to make money, right? Otherwise, you're going to pay it all in taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Sides, yeah, yeah, good point. Um, and from your experience, what are some of the biggest hurdles that Canadians face when they're entering the U.S. market?
Thinking that everything's the same, thinking that it's like one size fits all, thinking that because their friend set up this structure, they should set up this structure, or thinking that they don't need a visa when they do, and that's going to increase now because of the crackdowns basically that are happening. I've heard more stories in the past week about people being stopped at the border than I have in the past year.
Yeah,
Yeah, keep thinking that you can just invest and go visit your properties with no problem, thinking that you're going to get financing when you don't have the right financing partners. There are just so many pitfalls. And I think that ultimately it comes down to not having a strategy, but whether it's a short-term strategy or a long-term strategy. And you have to build both from the beginning. Because, like, think about it this way, Jen, right? When you get in your car and you know you're going somewhere, do you just drive?
just aimlessly. Yeah.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, remember those days when we didn't have GPS?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because my kid is about to drive, right? And he has no idea where we're going 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to worry because he could just put it
Right.
on his phone or put it on the GPS in the car.
Yeah.
So that's really what I compare it to. It's a GPS, and you need a GPS for investing, just as you do for driving places or traveling anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because without it, yeah, you're gonna get yourself in a mess. You're gonna get lost. Yeah, it's just gonna be a disaster. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I remember years ago before GPSs, and my girlfriend and I used to go shopping over in the States quite a bit because I'm in a border city, and we always used to say we would always get lost, but we would find new shopping areas. But
that's right. There's lots of shopping areas, like in the Detroit area, for example. You can always find shopping, just like in Buffalo for me. That
yeah,
was the same thing. It's
yeah,
like, oh, you'll get lost, but you'll end up at a different store that maybe has better deals. Who knows?
that's right. But it's not the same when you're investing.
No, it's not. I mean, if you want to haphazardly invest, like it's the same goes for if you're looking for a visa, right? You don't want to invest in just anything because it's not going to get you to the visa goal. So we have to determine your end game from the beginning, and we have to be flexible enough that if your end game changes, you're positioned well to adjust.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so like it's really important to partner with a lawyer that yeah, or attorney. I guess. Yeah.
Both. I'm actually both because I'm still licensed in Ontario. But
Okay.
yeah, I think at the end of the day, the other thing to remember, there's a lot of different types of lawyers. Like there's a lot of different types of investors. And um, I look at myself as I am a full service lawyer. And I think outside of the box because I'm an entrepreneur, which kind of is counterintuitive to being a lawyer. But
Hmm.
when you're an entrepreneur lawyer, you're going to find a way to make deals happen. Most people look at lawyers as deal breakers,
Right.
right?
Right.
I am a deal maker,
Yeah.
and I'm always going to find a way, if there is a way, to get you through that finish line because I want you to succeed because my success rests on yours.
Right. Right. And
So I really partner. It's a partnership.
yeah,
I like clients say to me, "Why are you more expensive?" And I said, "It's because of that. It's because I'm truly your partner. Like you could see from even on the cruise, like I'm always available. I try to be very generous with my time, sometimes to my detriment. My son was happy. He said, "Oh, you're going to have an interview. It means we're going to get money." I go, "No, honey, I'm just getting interviewed." Oh, he thinks everything has a price tag attached to it, but he is 14, so
yeah. Very good. Yeah. So it's just, yeah, it's so important to look at the whole picture, right? And your end goal, and then you tailor how to set it up according to the investor's end goal.
exactly.
Yeah, it's not just a single transaction of purchasing the property. It's not just a simple transaction of setting up a corp so that you can purchase over there. Like there's really a lot more to it. Yeah. So, what common risks do you see in cross-border investing, and how can these be avoided with the right professional guidance?
I think it's really exactly what I've already kind of said. Like the risks are pretty much the pitfalls that you can face.
Yeah.
And just thinking that you can do it the same way in America as you can in Canada, that's the biggest challenge. Thinking, oh, I can drive across the border and I'm not going to have a problem and I can stay there as long as I want and I don't have to worry. Maybe that was the case before, but it's certainly not the case now.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, now they want you to report if you're going to be here for more than 30 days, not just want, but they mandate it.
Yeah.
And that's new. And everybody's like, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? I mean, it means you have to report.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a big change in the whole dynamic of Canadians just taking for granted that they can be here in the US indefinitely. They really cannot.
Yeah, so true. And like you said, like people who have investment properties and they want to just pop over the border to check them, and if they're getting stopped, and what's going to happen there. We don't know.
It's going to be an ongoing problem that's going to wreak havoc, but also it's kind of like COVID, right? I compare what's going on now to kind of like COVID because we didn't know what the heck to do, right? We're like, what the heck,
Yeah.
right? And people were running scared and panicking, and I feel like this is kind of similar. And again, we were talking yesterday about, remember those days? I mean, it was worse in Ontario, but remember when you would have groceries delivered to your house and you had to wait an hour and then you had to spray them down because they might have some germs. So, and at the end of the day, again, this is going to balance out. We'll find a place that works. There will be negotiation and there will be a resolution that's going to be maybe not ideal for everybody, but certainly a resolution. And I think it's going to open doors for people to make viable investments, um, more secure investments, and more strategic investments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just have to navigate through, and we need professionals to guide us, right? And keep abreast
Yeah,
of the ever-changing rules and regulations. So that,
correct.
yeah, don't get ourselves into a mess.
Yep. Or at least try your best.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, why is now an ideal time to explore US real estate investment?
Because the prices are dropping, the market is opening up, and I think that there's less demand. So there's more opportunity, less demand from Canadians.
Okay.
Because so if you are not as risk averse as some, now is a good time to take advantage of the market as it's shifting. Money is available, lenders are available, lenders are lending. It's just a matter of finding that right opportunity for you.
Mhm.
So I think that a lot of, like, there's a lot of subject twos, like where there's vendor financing, vendor take back kind of thing, as it's called in Ontario. Seller financing is available. It's a good time to take advantage of the market, kind of while people's defenses are down, and see what's out there and go for it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's um when people are scared, that's when you take action, right? And take advantage of that. Yeah. Um, so what are the key differences, would you say, between the Canadian and US real estate markets that investors need to understand before they're making a move?
So one big key difference is the numbers and landlord friendliness and tenant rules. So that's a very big deal. Now, not every state has the same rules and opportunities, but a lot of states are going to be much better, certainly than Ontario,
Yeah,
because they're landlord friendly. And I help investors mostly invest in landlord friendly states because their opportunities are greater and better. And that's a big thing. And then, eviction, you can evict tenants much more easily than in Ontario. Your cap rates are higher, your ROI is higher. You may not make as much on when you sell, but your cash flow is going to be better over time. So that I think those are the main differences.
okay, so it doesn't appreciate as much, but it certainly,
It may not, and it depends on where. If you're buying a beachfront property, it may, but if you're buying a property in Atlanta, Georgia, you're going to have ongoing cash flow, or Cleveland, Ohio, your upsell is not high.
mhm.
But there's great opportunities. I actually have a colleague that has the most awesome turnkey opportunities in Cleveland for like 100,000, give or take. And I mean, you're going to make a decent amount of money on your rent, and it's almost a sure thing. Sometimes it is a sure thing because it's Section 8 government housing. So lots of opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm hearing a lot about that Section 8, and that's it, right? It's guaranteed
It's
money.
pretty much done. Yes, there's a coupon, and you're getting 80%, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah, and the other 80% is better than nothing. Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah. Um, So, what are the most crucial considerations Canadians should give or should keep in mind when stepping into cross-border real estate investing?
Making sure you have your entity set up and you've spoken with the right cross-border team before doing anything, because otherwise you will just waste your time and money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And um, having just working with professionals, not just some fly by night that says, "Oh, I know how to help you invest in the US." There's way too many of those.
Yeah. Or somebody, oh, I know how to set up a corp so that you can.
Yeah, or doing it yourself. Oh,
Hmm.
I set up an LLC. No, you didn't. Did you know that to do an LLC, you need corporate documents? What type of documents? Well, that's why we do this. And then setting up an LLC does not help you when it comes to the Canada Revenue Agency, because they disregard LLCs unless you have a company above it. So what do you mean? Well, that's why everything we do is customized.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And again, depending on their goals, right? Their long-term goals. Yeah. Um, so let's talk about um, what's your biggest challenge that you faced in scaling your own real estate portfolio, and how did you overcome it?
So I only have a few properties at any given time because I'm so busy helping other people get into their properties. And I don't like being a landlord.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be honest. So I like doing flips because they're painless.
Okay. Okay.
So the less involved, which is kind of the opposite of what I teach my clients, because they need to be actively developing the business to get a visa. And I like to be passively involved as passively as possible.
Right.
So oftentimes I'll invest in REITs and syndications and truly passive opportunities just because it's just an opportunity to get into the space without getting a headache.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Um, so what would you say has been your most successful joint venture experience?
So I know that I answered something on the questionnaire, but really my most successful joint venture experiences have been with my strategic partners that I work with now, my cross-border tax team and my asset protection slash transactional attorney. Why? Because there's truly symbiotic. Oh, and my immigration attorney colleagues. So because it's symbiotic, meaning they refer clients to me, I refer clients to them. We know that those clients are going to be handled and looked after. And they're like, it's a true joint venture because we're working for the good of the same client, right? And
Yeah.
it's holistic.
Hmm.
So it has to be symbiotic. It cannot be a one-way street. And way too many of my so-called joint ventures just want me to refer them business. But I want to get it in return. I want to give and take because that's how it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's better for your clients, it's better for your teammates. Like it's just the full package, right? So you can really offer each individual service can offer the full package when you're
Correct. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's great. Now, so what are your long-term goals in real estate, and how do you see joint venture partnerships help?
So my long-term goals are to truly help like thousands of Canadians to overcome their fear of investing in the US and abroad, and be able to do it peacefully, gracefully, and successfully. And I say that because far too many are just like flailing in the wind. And my goal is really to help them do it as successfully as possible so that they can cross borders seamlessly, like I do. Well, I haven't crossed the border since January, so but I'm a dual citizen, so I don't think they're going to stop me either way.
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah, I think that that's my goal. Um, my mission is actually to help aspiring global citizens to invest, scale, and live their best lives across borders painlessly, effortlessly, and successfully through our personalized concierge services, because I really believe in turning cross-border dreams into realities. And I know that I can do it because I've done it every single time. So
Yeah. Awesome. Um, okay. And um, what has been your most successful real estate investment today? And why do you believe that it worked so well?
Oh, I didn't see this question. I was successful real estate investment. Um, I would say that it's probably in this syndication I'm currently invested in because I keep seeing returns every single day. And I know that it's impacting people's lives because it's providing affordable housing. But I was just on this cruise that was out of Puerto Rico, and half the people were from Puerto Rico. There were 450 people, and about 250 were from Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico is a very interesting place to invest and to live because there's a lot of perks of living there. Like they have capital gains exemptions, they have tax exemptions, they have hospitality perks, all kinds of amazing things. So I think that my future real estate wins are going to be in Puerto Rico because they're in dire need of healthcare and affordable housing, two of my sweet spots.
Mhm.
So I'm probably going to be building a project there.
Nice, nice, nice
Yeah,
place to visit as well, right? Yeah,
exactly. It's a pretty cool place. I mean, they lose power and lose water a lot, which is not fun, but
yeah,
it's a pretty neat place.
very cool, very cool. So, what's advice would you give to somebody? Um,
Call us.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
that's
don't call us. Text us,
yeah,
email us,
yeah, yeah,
check us out, watch us on the web.
yeah,
Don't do it yourself.
yeah, yeah. Do you have a blog or a YouTube channel? What?
Yeah, everything we do is under the brand Investing Across Borders. We
Okay,
do have a very active YouTube channel. We do have most of our articles are posted on LinkedIn, and you can find me on LinkedIn. Lauren ESQ is my LinkedIn. Um, but we have a lot of educational stuff, and we also have a newsletter that we send. So if you want to join our newsletter, just send us an email, hello@investingacrossborders.net, not .com, .net.
okay, okay. So investing across borders, that's
Everything we do is that brand.
yeah, okay. And LinkedIn as well, or is it under
Yeah,
your
well, LinkedIn is well, you can find us that way, but you should just look me up, Lauren Cohen, ESQ. Or
okay.
maybe I should rebrand as Lauren the Lawyer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You said that once and I've remembered it ever since. I think the first time I met you, you were Lauren the
Yeah,
and yeah, I'll never forget. Yeah,
yeah, I got it.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's great branding. Excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much. Great information.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, great information for anybody who's considering not only investing in the US, but anywhere outside of Canada, or for Canadian investors outside of Canada.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct. And if you happen to be in the GTA, I'm doing a little meet and greet on April 14th. So if you message me on Facebook or you send us an email, I can send you the details of that. And you can see I'm connected with Jen, and I think this is cross-pollinating on my Facebook. And if not, we'll pollinate it tomorrow.
yeah, no, it is.
Cool.
See it on yours as well. So
Excellent.
yeah, yeah.
All
So
right. Well, thank you, Jen, for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to see your beautiful face. And I wish you a great evening and thank you. And well, everybody just get ahead of the tariffs. That's all I can tell you.
yeah, yeah, and do it right.
Do it right.
And do it
Please.
right.
Please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be double tariffed, double
Yeah,
taxed, double tariffed. It will not be good.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Double tax, double tariffs,
I
right?
think that's going to be my new one. Do you want to avoid double tariffs? Never mind double tax.
Yeah,
Double tariffs are even worse.
yeah, exactly. Because it's going back and forth,
Oh
right?
my God.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, and I encourage anybody reach out to Lauren. She knows her stuff,
I
and
do. Thank you.
she will set you up well and save you lots of money, lots of tariffs.
Lots of money, lots of time, lots of headaches.
Yes, yes. And
But don't miss the opportunity. We're here for you, okay? Thank you.
very good. So thank you again for being on tonight. Thank you for the guests watching in. If you would like to be a guest on an upcoming episode, please send me a message. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. Thanks. Have a
Bye
great
for now.